how much should you spend on an Osu keypad? 20 bucks, 40 bucks, 60 bucks? Probably not 60 bucks. Yeah, today we're going to be trying to figure that out for you. So first of all, what is an Osu keypad? Osu keypads are usually a set of 2 to 3 switches that are hot swappable, so you can find out which mechanical switches you like using over the others. The reason we use keypads is because not everyone has a mechanical keyboard, and not everyone has a hot swappable mechanical keyboard especially. So you know, buying these little pieces of plastic are kind of helpful for that. So yeah, how much should you spend and which ones should you be looking at? Because there are a lot of them on the market. There's a lot. But yeah, today we're going to be looking at 3 keypads at 3 different price points so you can figure out which one fits you the most. First up, this is an easily mass-producible Chinese keypad from Aliexpress, and it sits at around 6 bucks. It's cheap in both ways, being both $6 and built with probably $2 plastic. You could probably get a 20-piece chicken nuggets instead. And then this is the Motospeed keypad from Amazon. It's the most popular keypad on Amazon that I found. It's sitting at $16. It's around the lower middle in terms of quality. And this is the Momokai Keypad, a keypad made from Osu players, specifically for Osu players. And their keypads range from $28 to $40. Maybe you can only spend 6 bucks and you're okay with dropping quality, or maybe you're okay with spending a little more to get some more confirmed quality. The cheapest keypads I could find on AliExpress were all around $8 after shipping, and they're all pretty much the same cheap product. They have no drivers, so you can't change the lighting or the keys. But more importantly, you can't choose which mechanical switches you want. It's not hot swappable, so you're pretty much stuck with Automu red switches for your entire life. Now when you plug it in, it'll have these permanent rainbow RGB lights. You can't turn them off, so it'll just keep breathing rainbow forever. It has some rubber pads on the bottom, so it doesn't move on your desk. And you know, at $6, the build is super cheap, obviously. But does it work for Osu though? Yeah. It works completely fine. It doesn't do anything wrong, but honestly, it doesn't do anything great either. The switches feel super mushy, and you don't really get a nice response when you tap. Some patterns that I can normally hit become a lot harder to hit for some reason. I realize I lose a lot of stamina quicker as well, but at $6, I feel like it's not too bad for what it costs. It gets the job done, you know? And if you don't ever plan on buying a full mechanical keyboard, or if you're on a laptop and you don't ever plan on upgrading, it'll probably work perfectly fine for you. There's just no reason to really expect anything amazing out of it though. It took like a month and a half to ship, and when it arrived, I kind of forgot that I ordered it. I waited a month and a half for a $6 piece of plastic, so it kind of didn't feel worth it. If you have a budget over $6, I would recommend waiting for the next one. Alright, next, the mid-range keypad from Amazon. At first glance, it looks pretty good, to be honest. Good reviews, a lot of reviews, still pretty cheap at $16. The pictures look pretty legit. There's 2 sets of switches. It's hot swappable. There's a keycap puller. It has RGB lighting, and it shows that it was made for Osu. This is where most people would probably just click on purchase, but if you look closely, there are a lot of red flags. Look at this, small and light, okay, easy to carry, random keycaps. What? This important information is just tucked away in a parentheses here. Is this why every keypad has different keycaps? Mine came with a 7 home and a 9 page up. On their website, it's a 1 exclamation point FPS and a 2 @CF. My guess is that they're just going into their warehouse and picking up 2 random keycaps from one of the dusty boxes in the back. So there's literally no confirmation that your keycaps might not be half broken, or even worse, super cheap. And if you look at the image they put up for Osu players, they're playing the Beatmap editor. What, are you using your keypad to map? The biggest red flag to me though is that they're using random keycaps. This image right here is definitely just the marketing team not knowing what Osu is, but they realized that there's a market for Osu keypads, so they're just throwing it on there. They probably just googled an image of Osu and slapped it on the page for advertisement. There's nothing wrong with this, and they're just trying to appeal to the most amount of people possible, but this means that the people making this thing have no idea what's important when making an Osu keypad, because honestly, pulling out some random keycaps from the back won't cut it for Osu. In this game, we're constantly slamming the keys, so they're bound to break. It's bound to weaken if they're cheap, so we need keycaps that are pretty thick and pretty not cheap so they can take a beating. So I did a little comparison earlier, and look at these keycaps. They feel like they'd snap in half if I sneeze on them. Now, I didn't want to do this, but let's compare the $16 Amazon keycaps to the $6 AliExpress keycaps. The difference is actually insane. The AliExpress keycaps feel much better, and they're actually a lot thicker too. They actually feel like they'd last me forever, whereas these keycaps feel like they'll last me for 3 months. This isn't too much of an issue if you're a menace like me and have hundreds of random spare keycaps laying around, but you know, not everyone's a menace, so it's not fair to let it slide for this. Keycaps are really important, but the Amazon keypad honestly has a lot more going for it. First of all, it has an entire driver connected to it. You can customize the lights, the keys, you can even make macros for the keys. It's actually advertised for programmers as well. It's an extremely simple driver, honestly, but you know, it has a driver. Also, side note, I'm kind of jaded at this point, but if you look at the image they use for the keypad on the driver, it shows these nice ass expensive keycaps that it doesn't come with. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine, it's fine. Yeah, having a driver is a big plus, but an even bigger plus is the fact that it's hot swappable. Okay, it's hot swappable. That's pretty important for Osu, to be honest, because it takes a lot of testing to figure out which mechanical switches you actually prefer to play with. My biggest issue with that is the fact that it doesn't come with any variants of switches. Okay, let's look. First of all, it comes with Kale Speed Bronze switches, which is a 50G 1.1 activation point clicky switch. Okay, that's fine. And the second set of switches are a clicky switch. Why? Why are they both clicky switches? There are also some random off-brand blue switches, so they're pretty terrible. I was hoping they would come with linear and tactile switches so you could, you know, find out which one you like more. But no. You know, for 16 bucks, the feeling of playing with it isn't all too bad, but it doesn't feel much different from the $6 one. The build quality is slightly better, but the keycaps are much worse. The driver and hot swappability is cool and all, but that's pretty much all you're paying for, realistically. A slightly better build, a basic ass driver, downgraded keycaps, and being able to hot swap 2 of the same exact clicky switches. For 16 to 17 bucks, this thing doesn't feel great in the grand scheme of things. It's realistically not too bad. It's not bad at all, but honestly, to me, it just sits in the middle of not saving you money and not spending enough to get good quality. But if you have extra keycaps and extra switches laying around, I can definitely recommend this. But the issue with that is it's no longer what you're buying, it's what you previously bought to accommodate this thing. At that point, you should just buy a keypad that does all that for you. But where would you find a keypad that does all that for you conveniently, huh? I don't know. Oh my God, this keypad is so good. It's everything I've been wanting. It's everything I've been needing. Before I had this keypad, I would wake up in distress. I've been using this thing for years now, and it honestly has pretty much everything you'd want from a keypad. Great build quality, thick keycaps, hot swappable, programmable buttons, an in-depth driver, a driver that you don't even have to download. There's also 3 keys for people that use the ring index playstyle. Unlike the other keypads, you can add an entire pack of switches to test. So if it's your first time having certain mechanical switches, you can try them all right here. This keypad never felt off or wrong to me. It does everything that I would want and everything that I want well. Using this keypad has 100% become my preferred way to play Osu. And it's kind of obvious, honestly. It's kind of the you get what you pay for motto. There's actually really nothing bad I have to say about this keypad, except for its price. $40. I'm pretty sure I'm speaking for most people when I say this, but when something sits at $40, it's in this weird place where you don't know if you want to spend that much for a video game. It ends up being a little too much for someone to justify spending money on. And I don't disagree with that. I feel like it's not smart to spend this amount of money on keypads in the first place if you're struggling to put food on the table. Accessories for video games aren't meant to be investments in the first place. They're kind of novelties or like little convenient things you buy because they're cool. Nothing we buy for personal use is meant to be. Drawing tablets cost this much and more. A good mouse costs this much and even more. Personally, I always looked to spend a little more for something that I know is great and would last me a a long time, especially lasting a long time. That's really important. And to me, the Momokai keypads were exactly that. Before I used this model, I used one of their older models called the Simpad 2. These ones only have 2 keys and are decently cheaper. They were made with equal amounts of quality and equal amounts of care and actual knowledge on what makes a good OSU keypad. Unlike the guys over here who are playing the Beatmap editor. I'm pretty fond of their products, and I've worked with these guys in the past, so I'm pretty fond of the people behind the products too. It seems like they know what they're doing, and it seems like they have a passion for what they're doing. I'm only explaining these things because knowing the people behind the products really helps you determine if you can trust the products. But if you're a person who's on a really tight budget, you can definitely work with the $6 one on Aliexpress. You won't have to download any drivers, you won't have to have any switches or keycaps beforehand, so it's a super simple plug and play. If you have your own necessities, like switches and keycaps already, you'll be great with the $17 Amazon one. But if you're open to spending a little more for something great, I would actually recommend the $40 Tap Trio, or even better, the $27 Simpad Nano. Oh, look how small it is. This little thing is amazing. It feels just as crisp and well built as the Tap Trio, but in a cute little cube. It's only $11 more than the Amazon keypad, but it's honestly so much more refined. And if you want to spend a little more for other things like switches or extra keycaps, it's all bundled in the same nice place. So it's super convenient. But like I said, I'm partnered with them, so I actually have a discount code of my own where you can support me using my code Kachulu. I really like these keypads and I really want to support them, so go check out the Momokai keypads or check out the other keypads in the description. When it comes to playing OSU though, whatever works is fine, and however much you want to spend is up to you in the end. In the end, spending money on little accessories like these can be considered a waste of money to some people. Why buy 2 keys when you can buy 100? Well, what if you're on a laptop? You know, what if you want to try out mechanical switches but you don't have a hot swappable keyboard? What if you just want a cool accessory that accommodates the game that you play every day? Huh? There's nothing wrong with that. I've come to really like the aesthetics of keypads. There are a lot of people that criticize the worth of keypads in general, but honestly, a lot of those people are the same people who buy virtual currency and buy Valorant knives and Genshin Primal gems for $70. At least this is real.